people are like, why don't you put a sandwich board out front? I'm like, no, we didn't advertise. Like, I just wanted, like, the special people in my life to be here. So that's all of you. So thank you so much for coming. And some of you know the story and how this happened, and some of you don't. Some of you have read it. But when my mom's doctor said there wasn't anything left to do when she was struggling with ovarian cancer, I went to New York to see what I could do, and I ended up staying there the last 6 months. And I don't even like to use the word like last, because to me it's like a journey to the other side, and that's really what it was. And I feel so blessed because when you have a loved one that's passing, who knows they're going to heaven and who knows for sure that there is a heaven, it's a whole nother ballgame, right? So this experience with my mom was, to say the least, unique. And those of you who knew her or read the book know what I'm talking about. And I want to introduce a couple of people. First, my dad. I don't know if everybody met, but my dad's right here. Raise your hand, Serge.
Raise your hand, Serge.
And Patty, this is her beautiful business.
And my mother, Carol.
Patty and Carol. So all the closets are for sale, and it's not just closets, because you can do your garage, your kitchen, anywhere.
Sell it, Sarah. We're hiring you.
It's beautiful. Sir, do you have a question? Excuse me, I got a thing. And David and I are considering embarking on our new business, catering. So the catering is compliments of David.
Wonderful.
Me. And Annabelle is here.
Hi, guys.
And Annabelle has been instrumental in a lot of things, and one of the most beautiful things she's done recently is the Joan Chronicles website. So it's thejoanchronicles.com, and it's absolutely beautiful. And when she sent me proofs of different pictures and flowers, I told her my mom loved wildflowers and yellow roses and things. She sent me a graphic with the book that you'll see that's on the cover of the website. And the reason it gives me chills is because there was a bleeding heart, and it's a very, you might not have even heard of it, it's a very unique flower, and that particular bush lived outside our house for decades in Hurleyville, and so Annabelle didn't know that, and she didn't know that, and that was the flower that they chose for the website, and it's beautiful, so thank you so much. And this is Lexi, and this is Coley, and their mom is Marissa. Where's Marissa? Marissa's right here. And Marissa, I knew when she was in the womb. And we grew up in Hurleyville. And though they lived in Florida, Lexi and Coley were very, very close to my mom because they spent a lot of holidays and summers there. And so during this time, they were always talking to my mom and somehow communicating. And they wrote this book for her, and it was just a bunch of questions and artwork and things saying, I love you, and then please send us back your response. And it's just such a beautiful, beautiful book that a lot of it is in the book here, and it starts on page 187. And so Lexi and Coley are also willing to do signatures today. So please ask them to sign your book. And Lexi is very intuitive. When I told her that I actually was publishing the book, I'm just going to do her reaction. Hold this open right here. So I have to do a reaction. Oh my God, we're going to be in a movie! And so Lexi is intuitive, so I truly believe this will probably be a movie because Lexi knew about it before anybody. So anyway, they're willing to do signatures too, and so I'll just do a quick reading. So one of the first really funny things that happened to me, the way that the book kind of evolved is that my mom, because so many people loved my mom, it was so hard for my dad and I to talk to everybody every day while she was in the hospital. And so I started doing group emails, and it was all gloom and doom. And then, I would send this email and everyone's sobbing, and then my mom would do something funny and we'd be like hysterical laughing. But I know my cousin Michelle is like home in Pennsylvania sobbing, and my mom and I are like, wah! So I said, well, I have to like tell a funny story because everybody, they need to understand how she's behaving and what she's doing, and that it's not all gloom and doom. So this is one of the first stories that I told that I got in trouble for, because she didn't want me to like tell all the stories, because then she would have nothing left when her friends talked to her. So this was one of the funny ones. I talk about the medical, and this is one of the first emails. So that's your medical update. So here's your funny of this story of the day, even though it happened the other day. But remember, I had to ration my funny stories because my mom put a governor, one per day, so that I don't tell too many. The Joan requested a visit from one of the hospital priests. Like most doctors here who look like Doogie Howser, he looked about 16 years old. No facial hair whatsoever, and I don't even think he has to shave. Anyway, during the interview, because my mom had to know everything about everyone's life who she met, even for 5 minutes. So anyway, during the interview and before any Hail Marys, the topic of Vermont came up, part of the required historical information. And the priest said he had been to Vermont recently. The Joan asked, oh, some of you don't know. So my mom's friend called my mom not Joni, but the Joan, like the Donald, because her personality was like too big. So that's why the name of the book is called the Joan Chronicles. So the topic of Vermont came up, part of the required historical information, and the priest said he had been to Vermont recently. The Joan asked, oh, did you go skiing? And he sheepishly said, no, I was visiting a monastery. Ha 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 ha. I found this very funny, along the lines of, oh, did you go to some nice breweries? Or did you go bar hopping after après-ski? Anyway, afterwards, when I couldn't stop laughing, not in front of his face, but I said, Joni said, no, I'm sorry. I said, priests don't ski. They vow a life of poverty and can't drop 200 clams for a lift ticket. And then Joan replied, as if this was common knowledge and with 100% certainty, in capitals, priests don't have to pay to skate. Really? So all you skiers, find yourself a priest to buddy up with, and maybe the father can get you on the slope for free too.
Yay! Woo!
So, now I'll do signings. I'm sorry we're having technical difficulties with the credit cards, but we'll work that out, and my cashier will be at the front of the store. We're